Hello you guys, and welcome back to Simple Investing. Throughout this video, I'm going to give you guys some of my thoughts and insights into why I think Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners are ready for a Santa Claus rally. And later, I'm going to do a weekly recap on some of your guys' favorite Bitcoin miner charts. So make sure you guys stick around till the end of the video so you don't miss anything. If you guys enjoyed this video and would like seeing similar content in the future, then please do consider subscribing as well as hitting the like button. And now you guys, to answer the question, I will be looking at some of the Decembers throughout the previous two bull runs. And that will be the double top bull run. That was the 2016-2017 run. And then the previous cycle, the 2020 run. So now you guys, when I'm saying that the drop throughout the month, I'm considering a multi-day drop, not a flash crash, which is a one-day drop. Let's say like what we had a couple days ago where it was basically a 12% drop in one single day. Okay. And for the gain, I'm considering from the lowest point of the month to the highest point of the month. So now throughout December of 2016, we had a drop of 6.43% and an increase of 32%. Throughout December 2017, we had a drop of 24% and an increase of 110%. And throughout the last cycle, so December 2020, we had a drop of 12% and an increase of 67%. Now, where does that bring us to with this cycle? Well, you guys, we had a drop of 6%. And now if I use all the data that I was gathering from the previous bull runs, the Decembers, I was able to generate a range. And that range is between 29.86 and 33.5%. And where does that put us in terms of dollar value for Bitcoin? Well, that would put us at a dollar value of 120 to 123,000 USD. Now, does this sound like a dream? I don't think so. I do think it's quite possible, even probable, that Bitcoin will reach that number throughout December. And it can happen quicker than most people think. Now, how do the miners react to Bitcoin reaching this price? Well, you guys, there is for sure a dollar value at which they will ignite. Whether it's 105, I don't know, maybe 107, maybe even 115,000. But I can tell you guys that once that number hits, they will ignite and they will put in their final exponential leg of this bull run. So it's very similar, you guys, to what happened in 2020. I mean, throughout December, what Bitcoin hit about 20,000, and that was just the spark. And from that point on, they never looked back. I mean, they just took off and ran pretty damn hard from, let's say, third week of December into about third week of February. So about 2 months of very hard running. So don't leave that out of question for this cycle. And for whoever's still here and holding, congratulations, guys. Give yourselves a pat on the back. It's definitely been a very frustrating, difficult cycle for the miners. They've definitely been held down and manipulated to heck. Without that, I'm sure they would have been quite higher. Now, you guys, if you look at it, the market makers or just the big funds, like let's say BlackRock, Fidelity, I mean, they've been loading up their pockets, their shoes, everything. They've been loading it all up. And if you guys really think that they're going to leave these gains on the table, I'd think twice. They're definitely going to run these miners up. It's just a question of when. And they're probably going to be trying to beg at least 2 to 3x out of that, if not more. So you guys, I really do think the fireworks are about to start exploding. and the best part of the cycle is coming up for us here. So yeah, those are some of my thoughts. Leave some of the comments, you guys, below. What are your thoughts? How you guys think the cycle will roll out from this point on? And really looking forward to hearing some of those comments, guys. So without any further ado, let's dive on in and take a look at some of the charts. All right, you guys. So for Bitcoin, I'm looking at two patterns currently. The first one's going to be this symmetrical triangle, which is marked here in red. And this symmetrical triangle actually had a breakout target of about 106,000 American dollars. We were able to creep up above this descending trend line of this symmetrical triangle here on December 5th, hitting a high of pretty close to that. It was about 103,500. Now, this day I'd call it more of a, flash crash liquidation of the longs. And more or less it was a day of indecision, actually, because if you guys look at the candlestick body, it's right in the center here with both of the ends of the wicks being quite long and symmetrical. So I'd say it was more of an indecision day with a lot of selling pressure. Now, if anything, this was also a retest, because if you guys look, it pretty much perfectly hit back onto the descending trend line of the symmetrical triangle, closed above there. And if you guys look the following day, same thing, had a little bit of a wick below and just kept on inching higher. And the body as well ended up closing above the body of the previous candle. So that's good. And you can see upwards momentum as well. Now, you guys, this has been happening on dropping volume, so that's not necessarily a great thing. And that kind of ties into the next pattern I'm looking at here. And this would be basically this rising wedge. Now, you guys, whenever the price action comes into the rising wedge, basically from below, so the price is increasing into the rising wedge, then this is a bearish pattern, you guys. So if this were to break down or play out, the target of this pattern would be $89,000, roughly. Now, this would play in line, you guys, and I drew an extension here of the 50-day moving average, which is creeping up. It's also nicely making its way up into this support zone here. So overall, it's really important to see how Bitcoin behaves here. If we're actually able to break above this ascending trend line here of the rising wedge. Now, obviously, if we were to do this, then it's a higher probability that we're going to actually be shooting for 106 and even higher, thousand American dollars. But yeah, also you guys can see Bitcoin's really nicely riding that 10-day EMA, pretty much just only a wicks below. You don't really see any candle bodies closing below there. Everything's just wicking. So overall, the trend is your friend, and right now the trend's still riding up. So until something gets violated there, I'd say there's a higher chance for Bitcoin to hit that 106,000 than drop all the way down to 89. But either way, if it were to drop to 89, it would just flush out some more of those longs, and this area has become a pretty nice support zone at this point. So if anything, that's kind of the lowest area I'd see it going, although I do think 106,000 and onwards is more probable. The next chart I'd like to look at here is market cap Bitcoin dominance, the percentage. Now, if you guys look at this one here, it was trading in rising channel here for quite some time. You guys can see here the ascending trend line for resistance and the ascending trend line for support. Now we actually ended up hitting here a resistance, and this has been actually a pretty important resistance. If you guys look at here, there's been a couple touch points in the history here, so that has been a pretty important resistance zone. And obviously the reaction with that was not the greatest. We had a pretty violent move downwards. You guys can see there's definitely increasing volume, which is something you don't want to see, because if it's a natural, let's say, small correction or something along those lines, then you want to be seeing actually decreasing volume. You want to see increasing volume on the move up and decreasing volume on the way down. So this one's not looking great. As you guys can see here, broke down basically below this ascending trend line here, which was the support. And now it actually ended up closing its candlestick body here below the 50-day moving average. So overall, if it's not able to regain and get above that 50-day moving average, it could signal that there's more pain to come here. And it's just going to keep dropping lower. And as for support here too, you guys can see this this zone would be acting as support here for the current move lower. So I'm curious to see how this rolls out, if it's able to regain some of its power and momentum and just keep moving backwards into this. Keep moving back into this rising channel. Overall, you guys, you want this dropping lower. You want the percentage dropping lower, and currently it's at 55.42. The reason for that is typically as Bitcoin dominance starts falling, that's when the altcoins and the Bitcoin miners really start running. So it's actually in your favor for this to drop. So and we can see this with Ethereum and all sorts of other names, Cardano. I mean, everything started moving. So this could be potentially the sign that basically we're rolling over here on the dominance, and everything else is ready to run. So do keep your eyes out for this chart, you guys. The WGMI, you guys, is also looking pretty good. So it's been trading for quite some time, as you guys can see here, pretty much from July of 2023. It's been in this rising channel here with multiple attempts here, you guys, of breaking basically through the resistance, which is this ascending trend line. So there was one touch here, a second one, pretty much almost there, third one, fourth one, fifth, sixth, right? So overall, you guys, this is looking really good. And for whoever doesn't know, this is basically an ETF for the Bitcoin miners. So it has a percentage allocated to certain Bitcoin miners, such as IREN, Mara, and whatnot. So overall, this breaking out is very bullish for the sector. And as you guys can see, either way, the daily candlesticks are actually closing. This was just a wick here. That was pretty much IPO days. So yeah, 28.70. So we're already way above there, you guys. We're at 30.94. So this is just itching to break out from there and just basically go explore blue sky territory, guys. Mara, I'd say at this point it's highly unlikely that this gap will be filling, at least throughout this bull run. In the bear market, quite possible we could definitely come down here and fill that gap. However, overall, I'd say Mara at this point is sitting in this area of indecision. Basically, it's sandwiched between the resistance here of $28 and it broke out here of this descending trend line here of this symmetrical triangle. Now, in terms of what it's doing here, well, I would say it was definitely a breakout, a false breakout. Came right back into here, had a retest. Overall, it's looking healthy. It's still riding on that 9-day EMA. Now, how I think this will play out is it's going to be consolidating here in this region here, which I would basically say it's a rising triangle. And as you guys know, for anything that basically has share price increasing into the rising triangle, this actually is a bullish pattern. So we would expect that there will be a breakout into the upside. Now, in terms of the target of the breakout, we'd be looking at basically right here. Let's draw it out. So we'd be looking at a breakout target roughly that aligns with this resistance here of $32. So I really do think you guys, once Mara is able to pick a direction, well, obviously you either will break through this $28 and challenge 32, or it won't be able to hold this support here in this rising triangle, and then it's going to drop below, and then that's the question: is it going to be holding onto this descending trend line support here, at which point it could get pretty ugly. So let's hope, you guys, that Mara is able to pick the right direction, and that's going to be upwards. Lately it's been having a lot of, yeah, as you guys can see, a lot of big red volume days, and that can indicate a lot of sell pressure here. That could be due to the offerings, which obviously in the long run will be good for Mara. So I wouldn't get too worried here, you guys, at least quite yet. So overall, yeah, no, let's watch the price action here over the next couple days and see if we're going to be breaking out from here and challenging that 32. And that could happen pretty quick, you guys. That could be price action of 1 to 2 days. So yeah, definitely chart overall looking quite good here on Mara. CORZ, once this one broke out of this consolidation here that's been in since May of 2024, it never looked back. I mean, you guys can see right here, there's a gap between $6.50 and about $5 that I doubt will be getting filled anytime soon, probably in the bear market. But yeah, this one's been quite the ripper, guys, and it's trading in this rising channel, and has been trading in that for quite a while here, pretty much since the breakout here. So yeah, of June 2024. And more recently, you guys, it's trading here in this pennant. So once the pennant is able to break to the upside, then I'd definitely be looking at some of these targets of, yeah, about $19.50, $20. And that will be your next resistance, which is the ascending trend line. And obviously, if the pennant was to break to the downside, then you'd probably be looking at catching this 50-day moving average here, which is most likely at that point going to be much higher. So yeah, you're probably looking at about $16, let's say, here or so, which would be totally healthy. And then you'd be looking at this support zone here as well. As you guys can see, there's been multiple days that have been basically all the dips have been getting bought up in this region here, 15.5, 16. So overall, I'd say CORZ is looking really good. And obviously, once it's able to break out of this pattern too, then it's just going to keep shooting higher, and yeah, blue sky territory ahead. RIOT, it's trading here in this symmetrical triangle, and really looks like it doesn't want to fill this gap here nor catch its 50-day moving average. So as long as Bitcoin keeps consolidating here, we're moving higher. I can see this one keep inching its way towards this descending trend line here. Now, as long as the price action stays above this area here of 12.95, as you guys can see here, this acted as an area of resistance, some more resistance here, and yeah, a couple touch points, guys. So as long as the price action can trade in this area here, then basically you're going to get sandwiched between 12.95 and this descending trend line. So, and as you guys can see previously, it had multiple touches here of this descending trend line. So one right here, the second one, third one, fourth one, and now fifth one. So once it's able to generate enough momentum here to blast through there, I mean, it's going to be a really quick journey here to about 18.5 and $20.60. So that could happen very quickly, guys, as soon as, yeah, you break above here. I mean, that could happen in a day to two, just because this one's been suppressed for quite some time, and overall they seem to be doing much better here now. So yeah, this one's definitely looking good. It's definitely been sitting in the shadows, and nobody really wants to touch it. But yeah, don't sleep on this one, guys. It can definitely have a nice move as well. So Clean Spark. So this one's similar to Riot, you guys. It's kind of hanging around in this zone that's looking like it's about to get sandwiched here between the support line as well as this descending trend line of larger trend of a larger pattern, which is the triangle. So if you guys look here, this zone here of 1482 has been acting as a zone of support for quite some time. I mean, this was this entire consolidation here between February of 2024 and until it broke down here of August 2024. And throughout this recent drop here, we were fighting with this line. It was acting as a resistance for some time, and now we were able to close a candle above there. So as long as we're able to close candles above there, and obviously, naturally, this descending trend line is that's the price action is gonna gravitate towards that, and with having a touch point right here, that's gonna be a second test. And if we're able to break out from there, then it's gonna be a pretty quick journey here. I'd say, you guys, about the high of this cycle, which was 24.67, and once we've broken through there, then you guys are looking at about $31.50. Overall, the volumes here quite indecisive. I mean, it's been chopping. Let's look at it on the weekly here. There's been some nice green days. As you guys can see here, there's a lot of obviously sell and buy pressure, which has ended more on the side of the buyers. So that's good. They've definitely been stepping in, and yeah, if we can keep seeing an increase here on the weekly of the buying volume, that's definitely going to be a good thing for Clean Spark, and we can march on and try to test this descending trend line here. All right, IREN, you guys. So this one's been trading for quite some time in this broadening wedge. And now it was able to break out again. So as you guys can see here, this was the first breakout. It hit resistance. This is a pretty important resistance area here, this $15.77 to $18. So it was able to hit the lower resistance area here. And then it got shot back down in, figured it might hold, basically bounce back and continue on higher, utilize it as support. But yeah, got shot right back down, blew right through the 50-day moving average and caught a little bit of support here at this area here, $6. And since then it's been creeping its way up. And then ever since it got above the 50-day moving average, it definitely started getting more loaded and got its momentum to kick on and keep trying to power through this line here. So we were able to break through there, as you guys can see here, some increasing volume leading into this move. And yeah, pretty much topped out here right at this previous area that it hit, which was 1573. So now it's going to be important to watch, you guys, because yeah, basically you guys can see the wick here at the top. So there's definitely been selling pressure. It's definitely going to be interesting to see how it behaves here. If it's going to be able to start closing some bodies above this resistance. If not, this could be a temporary double top here, you guys. Could get shot right back down, and hopefully this time utilize this ascending trend line into support and give it a third attempt. But overall, you guys, I mean, if it's able to break above this resistance here, I mean, $18 is going to come in a blip. So that could be, you know, within a day. And from there on, it's blue sky territory. So it's totally not out of the question, you guys, that by the end of the year, we could be reaching something, let's say, in the realm of $20 a share for IREN. And yeah, volumes are looking pretty good. Let's see here on the weekly. As you guys can see here, increasing volume on the weekly. Definitely very similar to the action that we've had here in this breakout right here. So yeah, and one of the highest volume days as well in its history. Well, two of the highest volume days were on these breakouts, and yeah, I mean, they're leading them kind of into the same zone. So let's see if IREN's got what it takes to blast right through there and show us the money, show us a nice $20 share price by the end of the year. WULF, this one's definitely had its chance of a cool down, and yeah, basically got rejected pretty much off this target here that I've had. One was from this symmetrical triangle. The breakout target was about 944, and that went in line with the resistance here. As you guys can see, this has been a pretty important line acting as support here, resistance here, and then most recently also resistance. And WULF has been trying to creep its way back up. As you guys can see, a lot of candlesticks here at the top. So, I mean, there's a lot of sell pressure. However, if it's able to get through that somehow and close above this line of 945 here, this resistance line on decent volume, and close a couple candlesticks like solid bodies above there. I do expect the target here of 1220 is quite attainable here by the end of the year. So let's see what's Wolf got up its sleeve. It's definitely been an outperformer here overall this cycle. So let's see if it's got what it takes here to push into that 1220 zone here by the end of the year. CIFR, well, this one's been range bound here for quite some time here in this rising wedge. Now, obviously, was able to break out of it for a second time here, pretty much retesting. I mean, this was a little bit of a false breakdown here below this ascending support here, and pretty much almost touched this 50-day moving average and was able to fill its gap. So overall, I'd say it's looking pretty good, looking pretty healthy. The entire drop here has been on decreasing volume, so overall looking very healthy. And the pump was on, obviously, as you guys can see here, very nice increasing volume. So overall, this one's looking good. There's daily closes that are above this wick here. So this wick, obviously, there was a lot of sell pressure. Didn't end up closing higher than 677. So the following attempt here, we've been able to close multiple days above that. So that's definitely a good signal. And overall, as long as we're hanging above this ascending trend line here, I'd say CIFR is looking really good. Volume currently maybe is not telling too much of a story overall, and there, as you guys can see here, there's sell pressure for sure. You can see all the wicks here on the tops, but overall I'd say it's CIFR is looking really good, and if anything, I'd say it's ready to make its move here for about $10 a share. So let's see what it looks like on the weekly here, if volume says a different story. Yeah, I mean, you've got increasing volume. Let's see how it can do. It's been riding this 10-day EMA. So yeah, I think the next move, potentially even by the end of the year, it can definitely reach this 982, roughly $10 target. BTBT, well, this one, you guys, has been definitely trading inside of this ascending triangle here since about June of 2023, with multiple points that it tried to break out from 1, 2, 3, 4 now here. So overall, definitely grinding up higher. I've been utilizing, every time it gets shut down, it's been utilizing its 50-day moving average. So that's nice. As you guys can see here, there's definitely a lot of sell pressure here based on the wicks here from the zones here above this resistance here, 488. Overall, you guys, what to watch here in the near term here is when we can close a couple of days of solid bodies here above this zone of 488 here. I definitely can see it challenging here this ascending trend line here, which it also had both 3 points almost right here. The third one almost touches. Now, the breakout of this ascending triangle here, you guys, is marked up right here, and that would be the target that aligns here with a line of resistance that acted both as support and resistance here in the previous runs. So it's a meaningful area, and that zone is at about $9.12. So I think once we're able to break out of here on meaningful volume and really catch a bid, then I definitely do think that this target here is attainable here in very short order. Perhaps not by the end of the year, but yeah, maybe something like $7 to $8 could definitely be attainable by the end of the year. Now let's take a look here on the weekly, how it's looking. And I mean, there's definitely been some green volume coming in on this reject. I mean, that was a pretty nasty nasty sell-off day. But yeah, overall, I mean, if we can keep grinding and the weekly volume can be increasing here on the upwards price movement, this could definitely be good. And yeah, I do think the next touch we have here on this ascending trend line, I do think we're going to blow right through there. So overall, yeah, BTBT is looking good, and it's obviously got quite a stash of ETH. And if you guys have been looking and paying attention, ETH has been on the move as Bitcoin dominance is falling. So this one could definitely be catching a bit here very soon. HUT, this has been an absolute ripper, and just remembering how not so long ago nobody was interested in looking at this name. This is a Canadian company which has moved its headquarters now to the States, but regardless of that, they have a very big hodl, same as RIOT, Mara, CleanSpark. I believe HUT is sitting at around 9,000 hodl, so that definitely will help them here in the end game as Bitcoin's price is appreciating. And now from the standpoint of the chart, it's actually looking amazing. It's starting to be a little bit overextended, and I can see here on these wicks here, there is starting to be more and more sell pressure here, and they're definitely trying to keep it below here, this resistance of $42.31. Now, and if you guys look here, I mean, that's been resistance for quite some time. Bunch of touch points here, both as support and resistance. That is quite important. From my pattern here, that was the flag. I had a breakout target of 45.76. So we almost hit that. We hit 45.22. So I'd consider that target being pretty much hit. As far as these gaps go here, the higher it goes, the lower the likelihood that I do see these gaps filling here until the bear market. And overall, I'd say this chart is looking fantastic. Just so you guys can see here, a breakout, rejection off of this resistance here, 42.37, retest, and then just keeps trying higher and higher, and basically almost reaching this target here of the breakout of the flake pattern. Now, as far as the following targets, if it's able to sustain closing candlesticks, the bodies here above 42.27, it's able to consolidate for some time, because I'd say overall volume is still looking pretty good here. If it's able to consolidate here for some time, it's definitely going to be challenging that 51.13 zone here, if not 56.62. So that could definitely be something it could be attempting to breach here by the end of the year. So overall, this chart's looking extremely bullish. Yeah, one of the better names currently. So yeah, definitely keep your eyes out for this one, guys. And on the weekly, if you guys look here, I mean, the volume's just been, yeah, it's been crazy. Very nice to see this just increase in heavy green volume. So yeah, nothing to signal here that it wants to slow down anytime soon. Hive, this one's definitely been slow this cycle, not moving as per se other names. However, if anybody looks at the previous cycles, Hive's definitely always been a bit of a lagger, so it could definitely be the catch-up trade. Now, as far as the patterns go and how everything's playing out here, overall, I'd say it's looking pretty good. Once we broke out of this descending trend line here, basically it challenged its previous high here. It was what, 757, and as you guys can see here, there was a bunch of sell pressure here. You can see the wicks here from the top. All that happened, guys, is on dropping volume. As you guys can see here, the volume wasn't spiking. It was actually dropping volume on the pullback, which is good. All this was, you guys, was a retest, and that's what I mentioned in the previous video. It's highly likely that we're going to retest this descending trend line here. And that allowed the 50-day moving average also to catch up. So this was beautiful right here, you guys. We filled the gap, tapped on the 50-day moving average, and retested this basically descending trend line. So overall, it's looking good. And ever since then, yeah, it's been creeping up. So once we're able to break up above this line here, you guys, and successfully close some candlesticks above here on increasing volume, which has been happening. I mean, the volume here the other day was nice. If we can continue on like this, guys, I definitely think the breakout target here that I have marked as 1294, and that's the breakout target of this pattern here, that could definitely be coming up here by the end of the year. So that would definitely not be a bad place to start, and then continue marching on higher here, 1480s, 85. So overall, you guys, Hive is looking really good. Bitfarms, well, potentially, you guys, this one might be something to really start paying attention to. And if it's able to start closing more days with full bodies above this descending trend line here of this greater pattern, let's say at least 4 days. This previously, you guys can see here, there was a 3-day period where it broke out and just got shot right back down in. So maybe not a time to get too ahead of yourself until we start seeing evidence that it can actually start closing multiple days above this descending trend line. But overall, you guys, the nice thing here that I'm seeing is this increased volume here, which was similar to here. That's why I'm not fully convinced yet that this is going to actually hold. But yeah, from the previous spike here, it got rejected. Shot right back down. Most people thought it's going to be a retest here and just continue onwards, including myself. However, it was not able to hold above that line. Basically got shot down in, dropped below the 10-day EMA, and utilized the 50-day moving average here as support. Gathered a little bit more strength and popped out now again. Now, if we look, this line has had multiple retests of this resistance. So right here, there was 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this was the 5th attempt. And overall, you guys, if Bitfarms is able to actually pull off and sustain multiple days above here, and it's able to clear this 387, 425, and then this high of this cycle 520. I mean, the breakout target is about 665, which is quite reasonable here, especially considering since last cycle it was at about 1155, and with all the dilution and all that, I mean, this target is quite attainable in my opinion. And just looking on the weekly volume here as well, there's definitely been an increase in volume here, as you guys can see, which is good. Could be similar to something that was happening here in November of 2023. Perhaps we can get that move finally. But overall, yeah, I mean, Bitfarm's definitely been a lagger. This cycle definitely didn't get much love. It's got quite a bit of shares out, and obviously there's that RIOT offer as well sitting on the table. So if it's able to counter some of these things and start showing some signs of life, this could definitely be a nice catch-up trade. But as far as looking at some targets here in the near term, I'd say potentially by the end of the year, we could be looking at a zone here of about 429, 450, somewhere around there. I'd say that's a pretty reasonable target here for the end of the year. DMGI, so this one ended up getting a bit of a flush here as they ended up doing a raise, and that got a little bit of people panicking here. However, I would say it aligned up quite nicely here with this longer time frame. Ascending trend line here acted as support, as well as the lower trend line part of the flag also acted as support. So this was a very nice touch point, and as you guys can see here, definitely a lot of volume here. So the buyers stepped in, and now it's back to riding the 10-day EMA. So once we're able to actually break out of this flag here, out of this descending trend line of the flag, and close a couple days, some solid candlestick bodies, days outside of this descending trend line, overall it's going to be looking really good. And I'd say we're ready to hit this target here of about $1.06 here. That's the breakout target of the flag pattern. And yeah, I mean, if we break through there, then potentially even by the end of the year, $1.35. DMGI being a small cap is definitely late to the party. They always lag, they run last. But overall, I'd say just from looking at the volume here recently, there's definitely a spike. It's looking good. And if we look on the weekly basis, there's also an increase in volume here. So potentially that could be a start of a greater move. And here in the previous cycle, I mean, this was essentially a blow off top. So once you're able to get through the levels of 199 and 243, this was a blow off top. So really not much resistance on the way up, and we could really start jetting. So this is going to be an interesting one here going into the end of the cycle. So definitely for whoever doesn't have it on their radar, now would definitely be a time to add it to the watch list and really start eyeing it. CBIT, well, before I start saying anything about a chart here on this one, this is definitely something for management. The key here, you guys, is marketing. I mean, this stock really needs marketing, and it needs more eyes. More people need to start seeing it, and I believe that will be something to really start driving the price action upward. Basically, what's been happening here, if anybody's watched the previous video, and there's really not much to update on this one, we've been trading pretty much in this range here between 7 cents and 14.5 cents for about 2 years here, which is a launch pad, guys. And once it's finally ready to break, and when that is, who knows, once it's ready to break, it can really amaze all of us and pull an easy, let's say 10x, 15x, who knows. With these small caps, it's yeah, sky's the limit. So yeah, pretty much, first of all, this pattern here, this consolidation range, basically we'd have to clear 14.5 here for me to start getting excited. And once we're able to do that on meaningful volume, then I mean 22.5 will come pretty quick. That could even be a day or two out of the breakout of this 14.5. Secondly, we got this falling wedge here. Basically, I mean, we'll be probably breaking out of that any day here. So that would be about 10 cents as it stands today. So once we break through there, then obviously 14.5 cents is next. And just as a comparison for whoever hasn't watched the previous video, the last time there was a falling wedge here, basically that's how it acted out. Definitely went on a monster run. So if we will take a measurement here on some of the price action here, how much did we do? Did about a 7x from there, guys. So if we were to do the same, I mean, that can really happen quickly. Same as DMGI, this being a small cap, it's going to be one of the last ones to run, but definitely worthwhile to keep an eye out for it. And if management is able to start doing more marketing, this one could definitely catch a bit. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.